It's a little different because it's hot on the front end, middle end, and back end. Wow.
I think it has.
That's an all-inclusive heat. Wow.
I think it has a sweetness compared to the bomb.
Well, that's sweet. I'm really gonna send you some M&Ms, man. You gotta know.
Welcome to Running Hot. I'm your host, David Voorhees. With me is Dave Antongiovanni from PCARx. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Today is our first episode in our new in-house studio, which we're very excited about. We're going to unofficially say this is kicking off season 2. This is our 10th podcast, so you are officially into double digits. Hopefully we don't break him, but the goal is we've got 5 sauces. I always say those are for me. The 6th one is for the audience. $1,000 to your charity of choice. Have you thought about what charity you want to support?
I did.
Okay.
I want to support the pancreatic charity for my sister-in-law, who's fighting pancreatic cancer right now. So we're going to support that one.
Fantastic. Well, we'll also wish her healthy wishes.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into, you might have to get that one.
I'm going to promise I got to stay away from the milk.
Nah, it's up to you. There's no harm, no foul on the milk.
I just don't want to be that one and then have people laugh at me.
That's okay. So the first one is Bravado Spice Company, creamy herb and jalapeno. It's mild, it's green, it's good. So go ahead and pick your weapon and we'll get started.
All right. Cheers, season 2.
Cheers.
It's actually really good.
I find that all of these are pretty good, which is lucky for us. Okay, so question 1, I think I might make it a 2-parter.
Okay.
Because we use a lot of acronyms in healthcare, especially in insurance. You run a PBM, but maybe tell the audience what is a PBM and then how did you get in this space?
PBM is a pharmacy benefit manager. It's very simple. We are the processors for every drug being processed at a pharmacy. So when someone says you owe $10 at a pharmacy, a PBM came up with that $10 and it helps the pharmacy send the bill to a payer, which is us. That's what a pharmacy benefit manager does. We don't set the market price on drugs. We don't do anything but process a pharmacy claim. That's how simple it is.
Okay.
How did I get into it? I was very lucky. I was always into self-funded insurance. And years ago, the guy in Texas who was one of the founders and built the pharmacy system for H-E-B, our largest grocery chain, he was asked to build a PBM. And he was bidding on one of my large school districts, and I was actually an administrator, and I listened to him talk, and he was a pharmacist by trade, and his partner was an anesthesiologist. They thought they had a better way of doing pharmacy benefit management. And great speech. But as you know, dealing in the public sector, not everybody understands the nuts and bolts when you publicly speak about it. So I walked out of the meeting and I said, that was brilliant, but no, they're not going to vote for you because it's confusing. But you got something going on. And then he brought me over. He said, I'll teach you everything I know about pharmacy. And he went to Tennessee, got his pharmacy degree in North Carolina, ran Rite Aid up and down the East Coast for years. And then they brought him into Texas. And from there, he showed me everything on the back end of pharmacy. And I showed him everything on self-funded. And we kind of worked in the middle, and then over time, that's how I got into it. And I was like, put it this way, that's when Lipitor was the number one driving drug. So I'm aging myself, but people used to complain Lipitor was costing too much money. You know, you probably know of all things. We wish we had that issue right now.
Man, Lipitor, I hadn't heard that drug in a long time. But it was super popular. Super
popular. We don't know why people didn't buy Prilosec over the counter. We would have to do educational things. And that's what got me into the widget I am now. I taught people how to buy Prilosec. Don't know why they wouldn't. They thought their insurance should buy everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, some things you can pay for yourself. It's over the counter.
Absolutely.
And that's what it was.
All right. Well, let's get into number 2 over there.
What do we hear? Bravado Company again.
Yeah. Serrano and Basil. That's number 2. I find that all of these are really good. Yeah, you'll notice they get darker and the consistency gets thicker. But I find all of these really, really tasty. So
even the bomb, huh?
Even the DeBomb. The DeBomb has gotten us into the grinders, hot sauce. It almost levels you up. So where the grinders is no longer hot. And then we did PCARx once, which is the hottest pepper on the planet, and that was it wasn't as hot as I thought because we had stepped up with DeBomb, then grinders, and then we had PCARx. So
Now you make me nervous.
nah, no need to be nervous. We don't do your insurance, so I'm not overly worried about it.
Vinegar based. Good. I'm not sweating yet. You'll notice bald head sweats.
We've had a couple guests that's said that same thing, so I'll keep watching.
Yeah.
You've had a very interesting background, and have played competitive sports. Most notably, I believe rugby was your primary sport. So, what things did you learn from playing, at a high level, a sport like rugby, that has helped you into your career and industry?
I think you have to adapt. For one, you have to adapt to your own team. Plus, in rugby, it's such an instant moving game. You have to adapt to your opponent in front of you. So in our world, especially in the world of healthcare, we have to adapt every day. We don't know what laws are going to change, and then at the end of the day, your focus on a team sport is to win. So really, I kind of say the same thing. Our focus is to hopefully give a win to our employer, our client, and that's really what it is. And a win to them is a win to their members and everybody. We look at it as one big team. So a lot of people say, well, insurance is not guided towards the patient or the employees or the dependents, and I kind of beg to differ. I think it's built for them as well, and I think the employer is part of the team. And if they all learn they're in one big team with one big goal to make sure it's affordable, and that you have to teach. It's like in any sport. As you know basketball very well, there's 12 men on a field. There's only a court team, and there's 5 on the court, but they all have to work together to get those 5 on the court to win. And it's not only for the head coach who wins, it's for all 12. And that's how we look at healthcare. Same thing. It's a win-win for everybody. We try to use the word win-win all the time. And we find that the more we talk to our patients, which are the employers and dependents, the more they learn, the better stewards of money they become. Because really, as you know, in your world, captive world, you're really a steward of your own money.
Right. Right.
That's an odd way to put it. And I always tried to tell someone, one of the large carriers, someone said, why does it matter how much money I spend? The large carriers have ample amount of money. You've probably heard that before. And you're like, time out, it's not ample money. It's
right.
You're pulling from the pool. So
we were talking to a customer this morning about the idea of a lot of times employees make the decision of the plan that they choose based on the severity of health issues they'll have during that year. And their goal, if that happens, is to try to get to their deductible so the rest of the cost is not on them. But what a lot of employees don't understand is that doesn't mean that insurance is free after that. That doesn't mean that the claims are free after that. It just means that your portion or your share has been satisfied. And I think of insurance, there's no better way at a base level to just say it's symbiotic. If you can create a situation where you both need each other, you both get something to move forward, that's helpful because insurance companies run right know that the decision maker is the patient. And if you can help the decision maker, the patient, make good decisions that will help them be healthier and more affordable, we as an insurance company can benefit by better financial management. At a high level, I think that's where insurance companies are. The smart ones are starting to realize that if you really focus on the patient experience, the employee experience, the multiple partners that actually make it work, like a PBM, that's where you find high-performing, high-quality plans that help people build trust again in insurance, which hasn't been there for decades.
Decades. It became a commodity, and I think now you're right. It's coming off the commodity standpoint. Now it's value-based.
Right.
Now people are picking up. It might be a little more expensive, but this provides me more value. They're going to teach my members what to buy.
I think what will happen is the insurance companies have been pricing to sell. They've been pricing to win. And the claims haven't been exorbitant as they have been most recently in the last 4 to 5 years. They've really started to increase. The prevalence of million-dollar claims are higher than they've ever been. So if you're charging someone $500,000 of premium for their whole company and you have one claimant who has $1 million claim, you just lost $500,000 and you can't get that back because you can't charge the person $1.5 million because that business can't pay for $500,000. So you're spot on when you say, we're getting to that point where it's more expensive. I think what's happening is they're underwriting correctly so they can manage the claims because they're volatile. And then as we start to manage the medical better, the pharmacy better, they allow people like us to get in and work our magic, then you'll start to see the numbers come back down. But the fully insured carriers really have to right size their premium so they can start at a correct number versus a pricing to win.
Correct. And no one ever calls a PBM and says, you're doing a great job, thank you. They call us when the worst news is hit to them. And a lot of times it might be bad to us, but they got news they didn't want to hear. So they're not calling us because they're angry at us in most cases, but they just got news they were unprepared for.
Right.
And all they want to do is on-demand medical. And when they go through a drive-through and they say it's not covered or we don't have it right now, they get on the 800 line and call. Well, they're going to, as long as you listen to them, talk to them, educate them, and do the best you can. And that's what we tell people all the time. Maybe we can find it somewhere else. I don't know. But that's the problem with medical. I think it's the lack of education to people. It's standing at an airport and your plane's delayed and no one's telling you why.
Right.
And you just get frustrated and frustrated and frustrated. And our goal is just get on the mic and tell people why.
Yeah, boy, that is an interesting phenomenon when there's an issue at the airport. Woof.
Yeah.
All right, I can reach that one. So staying with Bravado Spice Company, this is Crimson Hot Sauce. So we're not getting super hot yet, but we're certainly...
So
maybe
since you're a Big 12 country, this is for old OU?
No,
Crimson and white.
no. There's Crimson in the KU brand guide, so...
Check the palette.
That's right, but I will say that this is not the same crimson color that we have at KU, so... but let's get in there. These ones are big. These are Texas-sized drummies.
Yeah, these are good size. Now that's a good one.
Adds a little bit of kick to it. Not much, but
Not
enough.
much. Yeah, that's good. I feel a little heat coming.
I had to get 2 bites. We talked too much on that last one, so I was still hungry. So let's pivot. There is a pretty big awareness and interest now in the GLP-1 area. So
You've heard about that.
I might have heard it a time or two, and it is a couple of things. One is it's an expensive drug now. Currently, it's getting better, and I'm sure you can talk to that. So you're facing something that is appearing to have pretty positive effects on people's health. From reducing weight, we know weight has a lot to do with downstream health issues. Mm-hmm. So you've got the cost part, and then the second piece is most people have no idea what the heck it is and the access to it, whether insurance covers it or don't. But the efficacy is still a little bit undetermined because it's new. So I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about GLP-1s in terms of availability and price, and then also, really what is it and why are people so interested in getting their hands on it?
Well, it's a phenomenon in the pharmacy world. For one, it's one of the, I hate to say it, but it's one of your first top influencer drugs of all times. It broke the money bank because influencers started telling everybody I was on this, famous people on it, and once people saw that I can lose weight, and it absolutely, your health is totally correlated to your wealth. When people lose weight, they get better healthy. It's simple math, and a lot of things get better. Your breathing gets better, your livers get better. All the comorbidities these GLP-1s now can be prescribed for work. But the problem with any magic pill is it the pill losing weight or the individual? Ask yourself the question. So anybody can be on a GLP-1. You can access to it all the time. So I can only speak on FDA-approved GLP-1s. The non-approved ones, the compounded ones, the off-cycle ones, I don't get into, I don't speak on because I don't know what they're making them with. What I do know is there is no generic therapeutic to these. They are the brands. They're coming from really 2 major manufacturers, and the shortage is over. So the FDA has announced the shortage is over. So that does reduce how compounders can compound now. So a lot of people say I can buy it for this price, this price, this price. if you're trying to beat the two main manufacturers' pricing, you're buying something that I don't know what it's made with. Now, is it 100% semaglutide? Is it the same semaglutide they used? I don't know. I can only speak to FDA-approved ones. The results are like they say. The one thing I know all of them say, and no one watches, is you must reduce your caloric intake and must increase your exercise. Watch the commercials on TV. They literally put that out there now. And then the next screen on the commercials will say, and it is known once you stop taking it, you'll gain all the way back. So the question to everybody, if I'm going to buy it, before you buy it, ask yourself what changes in your lifestyle and your caloric intake are you making before you purchase it, and what lifestyle changes in terms of exercise. And if you say none, I'm just going to inject myself, do you want to do that forever? So I treat it like a crutch. The best way to explain to people is this. When you hurt your ankle, you break your ankle in basketball. You go to the hospital, they x-ray, the doctor says, I'm going to put you on the wheelie thing or the crutches. How many years and decades do you want to be in crutches and the wheelie thing?
I don't want to be on it for a year. I want to be on it months.
So months. Perfect. The orthopedic wants you up and moving. He
Right.
wants to move that limb for a reason. It gets better. Well, no one does that for the GLP-1s. They are literally saying 60, 75 months, 85 months.
Oof.
How long? How long is the price tag? And weight loss is correlated to lifestyle. Now, you get a lot of people out. I'm talking real weight loss. I'm not talking full diagnosis of type 2 diabetics. I'm talking just weight loss. It's correlated to lifestyle. That's a lifestyle drug. So what other lifestyle drugs do we currently not talk about or cover? We don't cover a lot of lifestyle drugs. We make sure that's the patient's responsibility.
Right.
So when an employer says, I want you to cover this lifestyle drug, I go, why don't I cover the other ones? Well, it's the same thing. It's a lifestyle drug. So first I would tell someone, if you want to pay for it yourself and you don't want your employer to pay for it, that's awesome. There's plenty of ways you can pay for it. You can get discount cards. You can do anything you want online. Very accessible for even the FDA-approved ones. Please do that. If you do that on your own, I think that's a great budget. Because then you're going to realize as you pay for it yourself, that's your crutch. Give yourself a month, 2 months, 3 months on it. And in those times, it's going to help you curve. It will help you curve. It'll help you curve addiction. It'll help you. They're now looking at it for alcohol addiction.
Oh, wow.
Because it does trick something in the brain for curving like an addiction. So that's the number one thing they're researching right now. Okay, so if you want to make some major lifestyle changes to lose major weight, the FDA-approved ones I think are great if you're paying for it yourself. Because like anything, remember the old days we'd give free gym memberships to people to get the population healthy? How'd that work? The ones who are working out got a free membership. The ones who never worked out got a free membership and never went to the gym.
Right.
This is kind of the same thing. This is just an injectable once a week, and it gives you that kick. And it's the biggest fad in the world. The sad thing is there are a lot of people that are doing it on their own and don't even get the credit. Because now anybody who loses a pound of weight, the public thinks they're taking an injectable.
Right.
And so because of Hollywood. We've never saw this in Hollywood, and it cracks me up. You saw the one of the big manufacturers in Congress last week, and they're saying you got to get the price down. You got to get the price down as he's $60 billion revenue right now, profit, going into the fourth quarter. And I'm like, why do you think they're reducing the price? Everybody on the planet wants it. So what is our threshold in this world? We don't know yet. When your daughter comes to you and wants to lose 5 pounds before prom, yeah, just go to the doctor and get a script. Well, we don't need a pediatrician. Let's go to the doctor online. Send it to the pharmacy. And then you expect your employer to pay. So let me ask all the employees out here. We spend $1,300 a month for all of you. They expect 70% of, if this was open to a population under an insurance plan, they expect 70% of the population would jump on this.
Wow.
You do the math at $1,300 a pop for 62 months at a minimum, straight. It could bankrupt an employer.
By the middle of the year.
By the middle of the year. And then we have their dependents. So a type 2 diabetic, family of 5, the type 2 diabetic's on average of 6 drugs. One of them being probably Mounjaro or Ozempic. That's an expensive drug. But they're a type 2 diabetic. Now imagine if you opened it up to the floodgates and you have the entire rest of the family. You did a multiplier of 4 on the average to what the diabetic's costing you.
Wow.
Financially, I'm one of these people. Listen, you want to lose weight, it's a personal thing, but you gained weight somehow. What caused you to gain weight? You got to reduce your calorie. You got to change your lifestyle. And if you want to use it for a crutch, when you're paying for yourself, you can go to Lilly.com and download the Zepbound coupon. You can pay cash at $550. That's what Lilly will give you at a pharmacy, $550. See, that's the bottom line for Lilly.
For a month.
For 1 month.
Okay.
$530 from Lilly. So Lilly's probably making a few dollars. Lilly is coming out saying we have trizepatide at the first dosage for $270, but that means you don't get it in the pen. You have to inject yourself.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to inject yourself, you have to pull it out, inject it, and that's only for the starter dose. The other doses are at the pen, back to $550. So when someone says, "Well, I can find it for $150, $200," Lilly's not doing that. Well, I know a friend of a friend of a friend. Well, you're injecting something in your body that attacks your pancreas and thyroid. Your friend of a friend of a friend, that'd be very close to the biologist at Lilly. Because why would you do that to lose weight?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to cheat the system. Reduce your calorie, increase your exercise, and see what happens. And I know it's so hard because weight loss is a personal thing.
Yes,
People get that.
absolutely.
But you're now making it a financial thing for an employer.
Right.
And I know a lot of fully insured companies are saying, or carriers are saying, we'll add to the premium if you want us to open this category.
Right.
You're an actuary. You probably know more than me, but I would be really nervous about that because first year they open up, we know we're going to have a huge uptake of this drug. No one cares. It's fully insured. I'm paying my $25 copay, right? Well, year 2 comes. Let's say you got a 36-month, 24-month rate guarantee. Well, those big carriers can buy the business. They can. They have the withfall to go 8%, 8%. Well, year 3 comes. We're going to give you a 400% rate increase. Why? Look at your utilization.
Right.
Well, who do you think you can shop it to now?
Can't.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm afraid about in this market. And then an employer is going to be like, "What do I do?" It's going to blow up. We've never seen anything like this. This is so my to the population learning. I want this drug and I want it now. Pay for it outside the plan, cash. Feel free. Walk into any pharmacy. I'm only promoting the FDA ones, the ones that are approved. With the manufacturer coupon, you can get it at $550. It'd be cheaper than you signing up for all those weight loss memberships to get a prescription. Those are running anywhere from $179 to $499 a month, on not covering the drug. So do the math between the two. At least you know you're getting the gold standard of the industry for $550 from the manufacturer directly. But I don't think you should put it on an employer. And if I'm an employer, I don't. It only works if they actually lose weight,
Right.
and stop taking it. So, and then we don't know what on a fully functioning pancreas and a fully functioning thyroid, we don't know the side effects of this yet. So you've been on it for 85 months straight. All of a sudden you start having stomach issues. Really? Okay.
Right. Right.
And then that's covered under your insurance. So it's an interesting quagmire. A lot of people argue with me about this, but at the end of the day, my philosophy is, as a PBM, I only have a finite amount of money. I'm going to hold that money for the unthinkable, the I don't know drugs.
Right.
And this category, to me, is a lifestyle drug. I don't cover a lot of lifestyle drugs, and I put it over there.
It is, if it's a crutch, as you put it, or something that can help stimulate a behavioral change, maybe there's some sort of plan that we can devise where that starter dose and 2 more could be covered if you need it. Maybe there's something that if you go through certain like a step therapy, maybe it's something where you can get part of it, but if you're on it for the rest of your life, that's gonna
At 13 up, and
not gonna be healthy for you, and it's gonna bankrupt.
We
your
try
plan.
to create a customized plan. We recommend that. We recommend just a process. Part of a PA. What are they doing to change their behavior? Have them prove that. Why you're covering this drug maybe for 3 months.
Right.
But be creative. Just don't give the corporate Amex card to someone that says, "Here, have fun."
100%. I've already got our next question ready based on our last conversation topic. We're jumping into some hotter sauces. Bravado Spice Company, this is Black Garlic Carolina Reaper. So we kind of stepped up.
Oh, yeah.
We're into number 4. Number 4.
I think we're doing okay.
Well, I had a feeling we'd spend a few minutes on the GLP-1.
Oh yeah, that's a fun topic.
No right or wrong answers. All right, jumping into question number 4. This one has a little zip.
Yeah, that's a little zip. Still a little vinegar based. Good.
They're all vinegar based and they're delicious. All right, so we were talking about GLP-1s. A couple times you were talking about the pricing of the drug being different from the channel, the distributor, the compound version, which you don't work on, the FDA approved that you do work on. So why are drugs, the same drug, same brand name, different prices at different pharmacies, or when you obtain them from different areas? Why is the pricing so vastly different despite the same drug, the same brand?
Oh, that's 100% our motto. You got to teach a person what to buy, and more importantly, where to buy it. As an example, one pharmacy. You can run this on those on the apps now. You can be in a triangle and watch one pharmacy charge so much money for a drug, one $20 more, exact same drug, and people go, "Why is that? Isn't it controlled at the manufacturer?" Manufacturer sets the baseline.
Right.
There's wholesalers that have to get the drug to the trucks. The trucks have to get the drugs into the pharmacies. The larger the chain, the CVS's, the Walgreens, the big national chains, they have direct contracts with the wholesalers, negotiated pricing to bring the goods in. It's the same reason why if you walk into one grocery store and it's $3.58 for a gallon of milk, another grocery store down the street's charging $4.52. It's just different scale and number. It's the what you buy and where you buy it. So you want to go and work with someone that's going to teach you at the moment in time where to buy. So call us. We'll tell you this pharmacy is a lot cheaper. And that's just cost of goods and marketing. Healthcare is no different. It's no different than why you go one place for steaks and one place for other products. And then why is it vastly different at international? Liability. So let me ask you a question. If you walk into a U.S. pharmacy, pick up a drug, they staple it, you go home, you take it, something catastrophic happens. The amount of attorneys that would be driving to your house, you would block up a highway for this case, right? Now let me flip that. You work from Texas. We cross over into Mexico, get the exact same drug, come home, take it, same catastrophic incident. Nothing.
Right. You have no recourse.
No recourse. So the cost of that recourse, kind of like medical malpractice, is high.
Right.
And it could devastate people. And it's not that they did anything malicious. They're not making the drug in a pharmacy.
Right.
They're literally putting it in packaging and then giving it to you. And that just had a adverse effect to you. There's no one doing it, but that a lot of it is that you have the recourse of that. But at the end of the day, it's a cost of goods. So what is very interesting about a lot of this industry is you really got to change what a person buys and where they buy it. Those are you want to solve that pharmacy right there. Well, the average individual doesn't have time to do that, so someone has to help them. We have open enrollment. They sat there at lunch. They signed for the cheapest premium. They looked. They went home. Told their spouse, "Here's our benefit." I have no idea. Just we're going to get a card in the mail, and then this is healthcare in today's world. You go to a doctor. He goes, "You need this, this, and this." He gives you a piece of paper no one can read beside a pharmacist because it's ineligible reading. He handed it to him, and then they say, "You owe me $55."
Right.
Well, I don't have $55. Conversation stops. They put it back in the shelves, and they say, "Well, talk to your insurance company's not covering," or they come up with some excuse. And it's not that it's not covered. It's covered. It's just $55. Well, did you try this, or this drug? Did you coach the person to... The average individual doesn't want to be educated like that. So you have to have an advocacy in that. And we literally name ourselves PCARx because we're pharmacy clinical advisors. For our patients, our plan sponsors, for the 2% that are causing the biggest cost driver, why don't we handhold them? We know that. You're looking at claims ahead of time. We know the individuals that are the high utilizers, high cost. Let me have a conversation with them and see where I can guide them to a lower costing drug. Same care. I don't want to do anything to care. But what do you care if you're buying it at point A on the street or point B? And the difference could be point B allows me to get MAC pricing,
Right.
which is the cheaper pricing. Point A says, no, this is the cheapest I'm taking. Everybody doesn't realize pharmacies control pricing too. They set the bottom base. And everybody's like, what do you mean? Huh? They're going to take a certain amount or they're just not going to fill the drug.
Right.
So go where it's cheaper. That's your main thing.
Yeah, and I think it goes back again to my point about people forgetting what it's like to be a customer. So when you're on the other end and you're serving somebody, you're frustrated, maybe you're busy, you've got this going on, your boss, crawled on you for something, something is occurring and you're upset. You forget that Dave's a customer and Dave needs my best at that moment. And that just gets everybody all riled up because they forget, like, hey, this is the most important asset I have. It's my health. And I'm afraid, I'm frustrated, I'm angry because I can't afford it. And the person on the other end, I think, needs to take that approach of, let me just take a second and realize if I were on the other side of this, how do I approach it? That's so critical for people getting the right price and the right service. And you have to just say, that is what I'm going to stand for. Because trust me, this industry is crazy, and I have dealt with so many people that have been frustrated, but I always go, you know what? Let me take a step back. No idea what they're dealing with. I may not like how they're dealing with me. I may close the door and get off the phone and say a few choice words to myself, but then I'm going to go right back at it and do the thing that I know is important.
And it's critical. So one of the biggest things when I have advocacy, we had the freeze. We had one person on a time drug. So it's only dispensed at a certain time. And major chain pharmacy literally closed the door. And they had the script filled in a bag, but can't get in. He was panicky, and I get it. It's a life-saving time drug.
Yeah.
So not only did we figure out, we called corporate, which was in a different state. We were able to electronically pull that script. We sent it to the only hospital that was open in San Antonio.
Wow.
And we said, how far are you from this physical hospital? We're going to allow an override to fill, because at the hospital pharmacy they had it. So we did an override, filled it, and he was like a couple blocks away from downtown, and he was like, are you kidding me? I said, no. I mean, because obviously it's a panic drug.
Yeah.
If it was like a regular just maintenance med, I'd be like, why
Lipitor.
Lipitor. But you need, and then what that does was prevents him from going to the emergency room.
Right.
Prevents him from having a unridiculous amount of tests for what we knew it was.
Right.
And that in today's world, we somehow lost that.
Yep.
I think we lost it. People in the old days, I think that the boutique health insurance, I would say, is you need some, if you're going to spend this much money, you might as well have really good advocacy care.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're getting into the real stuff. I'm going to move this thing.
Well, I already got the hot lips and
Did you get a little sweat?
little sweat going.
Okay. That's good. So it wasn't the questions I was asking.
No.
All right.
Sure
so
makes
now,
it look like it, though.
Now we're into bomb. This is where it starts to get real. We had a guest recommend bringing this sauce on, and I couldn't change out from our 6th sauce.
Ah,
All right.
so it was a little dab.
Just a little dab. Well, again, this is going to prep you, though, for the next one. We used to...
I'm glad you're warming me up.
I am. Listen.
This is like pregame warm-up.
That's right. That's right.
Did he do a lot? Yeah, he did a little lot.
Morgan and I have tried all these without any chicken. Just ate it plain.
Yeah, that's hot. Right out of the gate. Wow. All right, here comes the sweats.
It gets hot. So,
That's a delayed.
oh yeah, you got it. There we go.
Is it obvious on the camera, Morgan? That wasn't any help.
She gave you a thumbs up.
Yeah,
But that's for the audience. That makes them really tune in. The thing, it's funny.
it's real.
I don't know how much of what we say they listen to. I think they're waiting for what's going to occur. How are people going to react? So you've had a long career, different roles. You've been a, upper echelon, high-performing athlete. Everybody makes mistakes. How have you found those mistakes to help you, one, learn, but two, prevent yourself from letting yourself be too down on yourself? Because it's really easy to get stuck on a mistake and then just dwell on it.
Well, that's a good question. Right as my mouth, my head, and everything's burning.
Mistake coming on the show.
I think that's what makes us great. I think we're bound to make mistakes every day. No one's going to be perfect. I think you get better in life on all your mistakes and how you solve and attack a mistake. And in most cases, I always tell everybody, first you got to own it. Never hide from your mistake. No one's going to be perfect. You're doing nothing malicious. You're trying to help everybody. But I make mistakes all the time. And I try to learn. And I just try to not to repeat the mistake. I try to say, no, I get it. I didn't think that way.
Right.
Because people will even our patients will teach us. And I think, that was a good one. That was the bomb. Now I'm like looking at you, but I'm looking over there going,
I'm rolling.
I don't know about but haven't touched the milk yet. I think that's the critical part. I think with anything, you got to own your mistake. Sports especially. I love the athletes that come out. The European athletes are the best about it. If they have a bad game, they apologize to the fan base.
Really?
Yeah, when you watch like Sky Sport in England, their responsibility is, you guys paid to see us play. You paid a lot of money, a big commitment to go watch a professional sporting event. It's our job to play at our peak performance because of that.
Right.
And I love that about Europeans, especially like international rugby. They know when they're having a bad game.
Yeah.
And to own it instead of just coming up with excuses or, hey, throw the helmet and all that. No, just own it.
Right.
That's the key. You have to own it. You have to own up to it and always say you're going to do better the next day.
Yeah.
And grab your boots and do better the next day.
I think we've lost that too, as making mistakes okay. There are certain mistakes that are bigger than others, right? And you talked about the liability pharmacy has or somebody has who's filling a drug, and that's why there's costs associated with it.
Yeah.
So people are fearful of that, and nobody wants to get chewed out. It's never fun. But I really do believe people value when you lean into a mistake and say, I messed up. Here's what I'm going to do to fix it, or here's how I'm going to go about trying to fix it. I think generally people appreciate that approach. No matter what, you're either going to deal with facing someone in the mistake you made, or you're going to face yourself wondering, when is somebody going to find out the mistake I made? How cataclysmic is it going to be? I think that's worse than going face to face and going, hey, I messed up.
I agree. Playing sports, treat it like the eye in the sky. You can never get away from the camera.
Right.
Whatever you did on Saturday or Sunday,
someone's going to see it.
When you go into the film room on Monday, you watch the pros and you hear the announcer, wait to that film room. That guy can hit his helmet. He was holding me. Oh yeah, we'll see.
Right. So we're moving into question 6.
But you put the grinder with the skull and crossbone.
Oh yeah, here, take a look at it and describe to people what that is. How do you feel when you look at that?
It's called Death Nectar.
Death Nectar. 333,000 Scoville. We just bumped up from about 150, so it's twice as high.
Oh, that's good.
But I will tell you.
It's getting a little chill, so I'm glad we're just moving right up into the grinder. Well, I've never seen this one. It's black. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see this every show.
Oh, wow.
This is not a just for you, Dave.
Is it literally?
I'm going to leave you with the last drummy, and I'll take a wing.
Do you do a little dab, or you have?
Yeah,
I
just
gotta
like.
watch you. All right.
See, enough to get you sauced up.
It's a little different because it's hot on the front end, middle end, and back end. Wow.
I think it has.
That's an all-inclusive heat. Wow.
I think it has a sweetness compared to the bomb.
Well, that's sweet. I'm really gonna send you some M&Ms, man. You gotta know.
All right, so this one's easy to answer, probably. What you all can't see is his daughter's here for the filming, and she's absolutely hysterically laughing, but doing it in silence, which is wonderful. It's part of the treat for me, besides seeing the sweat start and then him try to explain the heat on the beginning.
I'm shaking too.
Yeah, I could see. All right, so let me ask you this question before we get into some more serious ones. What Guinness Book of World Records record would you like to break?
That's a really interesting question. Who thought of that one?
Morgan.
I don't know. That's a. I would say years ago something athletically, but now I'd say I don't want to do that. It's too hard. The longest consecutive travel, see the whole world.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be just on the road? Okay.
from international, domestic, everywhere. Because
Cool.
then you can, when it's done, you can say I saw the whole world. And that to me would be cool. I don't think you're inquisitive at the FBI more than this. Wow.
This might be a new interrogation.
I do.
Eat the wing! Your eyes are watering now, too.
Uh-huh.
This is good. So we've got you on forehead, head sweat. We've got you on eye watering.
Yeah.
I've had that happen on 2 different guests, just not in the same guest. You're one of a kind, Dave. One of a kind. All right, so last one of these 6th questions. I think this would be fun. What's one thing that others would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm extremely process oriented.
Okay.
I wake up at the same time every day, put my shoes on the same way, brush my teeth the same way. I do not change any routine all the way till when I go to bed.
Why?
To me, it makes me self-accomplished that
Okay.
day. I got everything I needed done that day.
Okay. That's
So
very cool.
So I'm very structured. So,
See, I do things similar to that, but it's not because I am an overly structured person. It's because I'm a superstitious person. I do not like to go out of one door and then come in another door if I can have the chance of going back through that same door. Now, if I'm walking around a building, it's not the end of the world, but if I'm in my house and I go out the back door, I don't like going in the front door. I'd rather go back to the back door and then go out the front door. So some people might call that a process. Some people call it my superstition, or some people might say that that's OCD. It's probably all of the above.
I think it's all above.
It's all of the above.
Because then I know I got everything done.
Yeah,
Because I can trace myself back. I know.
absolutely.
And when a doctor says, well, what'd you I can tell you exactly what I had. I can tell you when I did it, and you can answer questions.
There you go. Well, if you're
Yeah.
deposed, then they'll know that you can answer the question. So now you're in trouble. You put it on tape.
I am, and I'm sweating. Hopefully I look okay still.
You look phenomenal. Look phenomenal. Well, Dave, Antongiovanni from PCARx, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for taking the 6 sauce challenge. You did a phenomenal job. Audience, I hope you enjoyed the feedback he gave you about the PBM industry and some of the hot topic items. I'm David Voorhees, the host of Running Hot. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.